Untitled blocks programming language. It's infinitely scrollable environment where you can create small programs using draggable, droppable, resizable blocks. So it's built on blocks. This is all of the ones that you have. Some of them act as containers, like set block and block. Some of them act as data values, like constant, set variable, and variable. Some conditionals that I haven't got around to building yet. And then a bunch of, I guess, operators that like look at the data or do things with data. So I guess I'll show you a little Hello World program. Like I said, this program is built using blocks. You build programs with blocks. So we're going to start with a set block. So just click over here, grab it, drag it over. It auto-populates the name, but we can change that to it's my first block. And we'll make it a bit bigger. Okay, so this is set block. So anything that goes inside here is going to get run when this block is run. So let's put a print statement inside there. Drag, drop, and we'll resize it up. So we come into, this is my first block, and then it goes to this first print statement, and it's going to print any arguments that it has. So right now it doesn't have any arguments, so it's not going to print anything. So let's add some data there. We're going to use a constant. So a constant is a type of data that doesn't have any sort of handle on it. You can only use it inside the block that it's is its parent. So print can read from it, but nowhere else can. So if I just type in here, hello world, constant inside of a print, inside of a set block, it's sort of that hierarchy is how stuff is built here. So if I press play right now, it's not going to do anything, and that's because this block is not connected to the start button. So I can do that. I can fix that in two ways. I can drag this over and drop it in, and it prints hello world. I'll make that a bit bigger. So start goes to this block, and then from the block it goes into print. Print gets this, and it sends it to the console. We can also use a little handle on our set block, which is this block one here. So this guy, you can't add anything to it, but you can use it as a shorthand for these. When you define this, you can use this to call it. So if we go to here, this is my first block. Now this is going to act as this. I can put this in start. If I press play, it prints hello world again. Cool. So blocks can have all sorts of functions in them, and they can have a sequence of functions. It's going to move from the top down. So if we add in another print statement, it's going to do this print, and then it's going to do this print. So again, this print doesn't have anything in it. And this time, let's add a variable instead of a constant. So our variables have handles, which means we can define them outside of the function that they're in, and then that function can still grab the variable. So if we choose set variable, we can have a new variable. It's auto-populated a name, Kival. It just grabs some random letters, and we'll type in goodbye world. So it's not inside the print statement. We could drag and drop it in here, and that will work, as you see. But because it's a variable with a handle, we can also grab just a variable and then pull it that way as well. So this Kival is linking to this one. If we press play, it does it that way as well. Okay, so that is, I guess, the basics of how stuff is put together. I'll show you some of the other instructions that I've been working on. I have a couple demos. I'll show you the math one. So basic math is here. So again, we have some variables. Variables can be numbers or words or characters. And then we have a bunch of blocks. So let's have a look at this print block. It prints the variables, and it prints them in this order. So DSG's first, then this one, then this one, then it adds a constant equals, a and then it prints outlet. Outlet is a special variable that's generated via some functions that you can reassign to a variable using the assign block, which is this one, but we'll get to that. So what is interesting about this thing is that we have all of these blocks that are sort of describing processes and then printing their outputs. And then we have this do all block, which just goes through and calls every other block. So inside these blocks we have, let's have a look at the add block. We have an add function. So it's going to go through and add any arguments to it. Inside of the multiply, it'll multiply. With subtract, it starts with the first variable as positive, and then it subtracts all other variables, and modulus is the same. It starts with this one, and modulus is, and you can add more variables if you want. You can constants as well. So you can add stuff like that as well, and we could make that 6 or whatever. But we'll delete that for now. So if I press start, it's going to go to do all, and then do all is going to call all of these blocks in order. So it'll call, I don't know what the order is, but there we go. So you can see how they all light up. That's when the block is active in the instruction set. We can make it do it all at once as well if we change the speed. And it's just going to do it instantly. And then we can also make it really slow. Do all, and then you can see it sort of going through the process. Yeah, I think that's about it for now. Yeah, that's all.